Hello everyone, my name is Landon and welcome back to another video. Today, I've got a new setup. I was getting way too many books over the past few months and this shelf got filled up with Stephen King novels that I had to get a new shelf. And here's the new shelf. So now I'm in the center instead of on the side of this shelf. I'm right in the center. This is where I used to be, right over here. And now I'm in the middle so you guys can see the entire background of my books. So, today I'm going to be doing my top 5 novels that I'm going to reread over the summer. Now, I'm definitely going to reread more novels than just these 5, but these are my 5 favorites that I picked out that I'm going to be rereading. So, let's get right into it. My 5th novel that I'm going to be rereading, my favorite novel, not just the 5th, that I'm going to be rereading over the summer is The Terror. I don't actually have it with me right now because I let a friend borrow it, but it's The Terror by Dan Simmons. The Terror by Dan Simmons is my #1 favorite novel of all time, period. The Terror is excellently crafted. It's an amazing novel, so well written, and the TV show did a really good job of portraying it, even though the ending was really off. They could have done it better with the ending in the TV show. The TV show was still great, though. And I'll briefly explain what these books are about. The Terror is about an 1800s expedition on open water in the winter time. The Sir John Franklin expedition of the HMS Terror, obviously the Terror, and HMS Erebus. They were 2 ships that were traveling over the Northwest Passage, I believe, or maybe another passage, I'm not exactly quite sure, but they were trying to find their way from where they were, United States, to, I think it was the United States at least, but they were trying to find a way to Europe, I believe. And as they were out there on the open water, their ships got caught in the ice in the Arctic, basically. And it was Arctic ice out there, and their ships were at a standstill, and they were trying to figure out a way off the ice and to keep moving forward. And as they kept trying to figure out what was going on and to try and figure out a plan to get rescued, something followed them out there on the ice. Some mythical beast was out there, and it was stalking the ship. And that's really, everything that I can say without giving away any spoilers. So, let's get into the number 4 spot. Number 4, we have The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Speaking of #1 favorites, this is my first favorite Stephen King novel of all time. And one of the reasons why I love it so much is it's nice and short. It's a 300-page novel. Don't get me wrong, I love long novels, but this is just a perfect length for a novel. 300 to 600 pages is a perfect length for a novel. And The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is excellent. I loved it the first time I read it, and I still love it now. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is about a young 9-year-old girl named Trish McFarlane who goes out on a hiking trip with her recently divorced mother and her brother. And as they're out there, her mother and her brother start having an argument, as they always do, and she's thought that she's had enough, and she goes out into the forest to take a pee, to go to the bathroom, and as she's out there, once she's done, she loses her tracks, and she ends up getting lost in the woods, and she keeps going deeper and deeper, and as she keeps going deeper and deeper, something is following her out there, tracking her down, and it's a fight for survival between her and the thing that's out there, and that's really it. That's the premise of the book. She also has, a backpack, she doesn't have, water and, the berries on trees and stuff. She has a backpack with some food, like a sandwich and some, drinks and stuff like that. And she also has a Walkman to, listen to Red Sox games, hence Tom Gordon, who was a pitcher for the Red Sox back in the day. But at the number 3 spot, we have Joe Hill's NOS 482. NOS 482, or Nosferatu, is my 6th or 7th favorite novel of all time. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look back at it. But this novel was incredible the first time I read it. It's about 700 pages long, and it felt like it was 300. I devoured this book in 3 to 4 days. I loved it that much. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. Joe Hill is an amazing novelist, and he's right up there with his dad, Stephen King. He's just as good as him, even though he writes similar to him. But either way, this book was amazing. This book is about a young Victoria, everybody calls her Vic McQueen, who realizes at a young age that she has this certain power to always find things. She's very good at finding things, and this is because she has the power to go over a certain bridge. There's a bridge that she can cross in, at the backwoods of her house, and whenever she crosses it, whenever she thinks of something that she lost, she goes there and she can find it, almost instantly. And then we also have another character, the main villain, Charles Manx. Charles Manx is basically a vampire, essentially. He owns a 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith. That's a mouthful. And that car, it's a car that he owns from 1938, and that car is basically his life force. If it gets destroyed, he gets destroyed with it. If it gets rebuilt after it was destroyed, he's brought back to life. And he can control the car. Like, if somebody tries to get out, he can close the doors without even touching the door. He's basically, like, soul bonded to the car, much like the car from Christine and from a Buick 8. I believe it's, like, sort of the same species, if you would call it, of car from Christine and from a Buick 8. And one day, Victoria actually stumbles upon Manx, and Manx tries to kidnap her, but it fails, and then Manx, many years later, or a few months later, is destroyed, and Victoria grows up, has a normal life, gets married, has a kid, and Manx gets rebuilt, and then he's after Vic once again to try and get his revenge. And this book was an amazing sci-fi thriller. It was intense, it was crazy, there were so many directions that I didn't know was going to take me. And that's that. That goes right there. Alright. At the number 2 spot, we have Bay's End by Edward Lorne. When I first opened this novel, I immediately knew that it was going to be one of my favorites. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, but I adore this novel. It's my second favorite novel behind The Terror of all time. The way Edward Lorne developed the characters, he actually made you feel for everything that happened in this book. There are many books out there that I've read where you don't really feel for the characters when, like, either they die or something bad happens to them. That's not the case in Bay's End. You feel for every single character in Bay's End. When something happens to them, you want to just scream at the top of your lungs because you care that much. At least that's how much I cared. Bay's End is about Trey... What's his last name? Trey Franklin. He's an older man, and he's troubled by his past. And the only solace he has is writing. So he begins to write the story of the one fateful summer that he had in Bay's End. And it goes back to telling us about his 12-year-old going on 13 self, where he meets a young Eddie Tremont. Eddie Tremont's sort of a troublemaker, and they decide to pull a prank on the sadistic officer, Officer Mack, I believe his name was, if I'm getting that right? Officer Mack, right? Officer Mack, yep, I got it right. Officer Mack, they play a prank on him, and it goes terribly wrong, and then it completely swipes over the town, and then the town is never the same again. And it's an emotional roller coaster, sci-fi horror thriller that I didn't see coming, and it's absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to get back to it in the summer. Where did I put this one? I don't remember. This is where it went. Alright. And at the number 1 spot, we've got a big mama here. Stephen King's It. I first read It in the 9th grade, which was last year, so the last time I read this book was a while back. And I'm so happy that I'm actually going to go back to read it again, because I remember I loved this novel, and I can't wait to go back and read it again I take a 2-week vacation every single summer. We go to South Carolina, me and my family, and this is the book that I'm going to bring. I don't think I need to bring another one because it's so long. And yeah. And also I want to tell you a little story about this version of It, because I have another version down here of It. If you can see where my hand is, that's another copy of It. This is my second copy of It that I bought about a week ago. The reason being is because, like, I was online. I was looking for another copy of Dreamcatcher. Actually, I was trying to find another copy of Dreamcatcher, but I was like, I already have 2 copies. I'll get another copy later on. And then I was like, you know, I really want to reread It over the summer. So I went online and I was like, I'm gonna get another copy. And basically the one who made me do that was Edward Lorne, because he's a big collector. He loves to collect more copies of novels, and he was the one who drew me into buying another copy of this. He was the one who made me this way of buying another copy of It, and I hate him for it. No, I don't hate him. I love Edward. But either way, It is my number 1 novel that I'm going to be rereading over the summer. I can't wait. I'm going to take that 2-week vacation, I believe, in like 2 weeks, actually. 2 weeks from now, I'm going on the 2-week vacation, so I'm going to get around to this. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. Tell me what novels you're going to be rereading over the summer that you've already read, or new ones that you're going to be reading. But either way, if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.